Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and happy Stone Cold Steve Austin Day 316. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today I want to talk about the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair feud because after SmackDown, I think I got this. I have to say, this feud feels like it's the right feud at the wrong time. And I think they rushed the feud for WrestleMania instead of letting it build longer. Now, I did talk about this in a couple of videos. I think towards the end of the year, I thought the best way to build to Charlotte and Tiffany was to keep them apart. I said, let's look at the Crown Jewel Championship, the way they did the title versus title. I thought that might have been the best way to introduce the feud, bring them together. But WWE obviously decided, hey, we're going to rush this feud. And you can just tell like the lack of chemistry between the two. The feud has kind of felt lackluster. And when you again look at the Raw side of things, which obviously I think at this point is going to be a triple threat match between Rhea, Io, and Bianca. In one segment where Io was getting interviewed, she was interrupted by Bianca and Rhea, and then Bianca and Rhea kind of went at it, and then Io, kind of feeling disrespected as a champion, slapped the taste out of both of their mouths, and within one segment, did more to get people interested in a potential triple threat match, which I do expect to be confirmed probably on Raw tomorrow. When the contract signing between Io and Bianca does happen, I fully expect Rhea to interrupt and it turn into a triple threat match. But in one segment, they've done more to generate more interest into the feud than what they've done with Charlotte and Tiffany. Now, it's not a knock against Charlotte or Tiffany. Both of them are very talented. Tiffany is obviously has a bright future ahead of her. But I do think from a creative standpoint that this probably should have been a SummerSlam feud, not a WrestleMania feud. I think if the WWE would have done more to build Tiffany Stratton as a babyface, let her develop more as a babyface instead of being rushed into this feud with Charlotte Flair. And again, Charlotte Flair is coming off a injury. And again, this was supposed to be some kind of new character for her, but again, it's just the same old Charlotte. I'm the queen, bow down to the queen, yada yada yada. And I think if the WWE would have done more, and again, I think you got to keep the way things were, just because I don't want to lose that segment between Io, Bianca, and Rhea now. But I think if they would have done something much different with the SmackDown side of things, maybe have um, someone else win the Royal Rumble. Have Charlotte kind of lose the Rumble, kind of in the same fashion that John Cena did. She comes back and she's surprised that she didn't win because someone else pulled off the upset. And I talked about this too, where I felt like the Women's Rumble was where you should have had the upset winner. And again, I like Jay, but I think if you would have had John Cena win the Rumble, then you do and maybe you could have done the whole I want your soul thing, kickstarted that at the very first Raw on Netflix instead of that Dwayne Johnson promo we got, and then that built to John Cena winning the Rumble, and then we just do the second we had the Elimination Chamber at the Rumble, and maybe have Jay win the Elimination Chamber to get the Gunther. Then I think we probably would have been on a much better road to WrestleMania. But when you look at the women's side, maybe you could have had Nia Jax cost Tiffany Stratton the match, or cost her a title, like after the cash in. Maybe Charlotte gets a match against her on SmackDown, then Nia Jax cost her the match, and then Nia and Tiffany can go off to WrestleMania, kind of similar to how Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are. And after that, you could have had Charlotte, who would be the champion. Maybe she would then face someone from whoever won the elimination, whoever won the Royal Rumble. Because again, I don't want to lose that great segment we had between Bianca, Rhea, and Io. Maybe you could have had Bailey to play off the history of the Four Horsewomen with Bailey and Charlotte, but then again, you don't want to have Bailey win back to back. But again, maybe you could have just found a way to twist things and make it better from a creative standpoint. That could have kept Charlotte and Tiffany away from each other. I think the reason people aren't interested is because it does feel kind of rushed. Now, look, the international crowds, I love them. And every crowd, no matter where it is, whether it's the United States, Canada, UK, wherever, they're going to love the pull apart brawls. And Triple H loves his pull apart brawls. We know that. So no matter where you go, fans are going to chant for the pull apart brawls. Let them fight. Let them fight. So, it's not really one of those things where it's like it saved their feud, because it's the typical pull apart brawl. They keep fighting. They beat up security trope that we always see. But I don't think it's going to do enough to warrant that it's going to make people interested. I still think people are going to be more invested in the Rhea Bianca Io match versus Charlotte and Tiffany. I think if you would have had something with maybe Charlotte facing anyone else, and I think in this scenario, because again, the way this feud has been built, you could have easily just put anyone else in that place. Charlotte coming out, she's sitting on a chair and she's like, "Hey, it's Tiffy time," or oh, that's all she was doing, and okay, that doesn't really do anything to build to a match at WrestleMania. It's one of the big problems that a lot of fans have with Jay versus Gunther is they're not doing enough to make people invested into the feud. And again, that's not a knock on Jay, Gunther. It's not a knock on Charlotte, not a knock on Tiffany. This is on creative. This is on Triple H. I think they could have done a much better job at building to this feud. And I think if they would have held off for Charlotte and Tiffany until SummerSlam, allowed Charlotte to kind of be more developed, get her several months past her coming back, let her the supposedly new character develop so we can see it, develop Tiffany Stratton as a babyface more, then I think the timing around SummerSlam would have worked much better for this feud versus, say, right now with WrestleMania. The Elimination Chamber winners have more of an exciting feud than the Royal Rumble winners. And I think that is a problem. I think, again, while you do want to keep the Elimination Chamber as an important stable on the road to WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble has always been that one match that is the guaranteed, this is going to make us a new star. This is going to set the path, set the road to WrestleMania. Instead, it feels like the Elimination Chamber, this year at least, has more so done that than the Royal Rumble itself. So I'm hoping that, again, as we do go into these international crowds these next couple weeks, the WWE does do more with Charlotte and Tiffany to get them invested into the feud. I feel like they've got to find something to make this work, because by the time we get to WrestleMania, are people going to be invested enough into it? Are they going to be invested enough into Tiffany Stratton as a babyface? Are they going to turn on her because they want to see Charlotte win because the WWE went and did the babyface turn for Tiffany too soon. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. And again, as always, I've been your host, Money Mike. This has been Ringside Cinema, and join me tomorrow right here on this channel for Monday Afternoon Raw. I will be live streaming Raw right here when it airs on Netflix. No tape delay. Netflix, we can finally watch these shows live, except for when they're on USA Network on SmackDown. So hit that like and subscribe button, and join me for Monday Afternoon Raw right here on this channel tomorrow. Wrestling